Yeah, that's good that you've been able to stay strong, throughout all this. I'm definitely, proud of you for that. And I hopefully, it continues to go that way for you for sure. Because I know it definitely sounds like a struggle. Like you said, it's still a daily thing. And I guess as far as the people that the loved ones that see, someone that used to use drugs or currently using drugs, we just gotta continue to show compassion, but at the same time not falling into the area of being an enabler too. So that's a really hard fine line too to kind of fall into. So yeah,
Set,
there's
ba-
that.
set boundaries. I think that's always a good thing. In a loving way.
Yeah.
It's important to set boundaries, especially for them, just so they kind of be like, hey. So maybe in a way they could kind of understand.
Yeah, absolutely. So my next question that I have is in regards to school. So, like back in the elementary days, I'm sure y'all were both familiar with this, but there was a program called DARE, like it's like don't do drugs kind of programs. Do you feel like those programs are like effective, like and are impactful for people to not do drugs?
I know, like for me, it was very impactful for me because they would do these big, I don't know how it is everywhere, but they would do these big assemblies and they would have police come in and the police would bring the drug dogs in and, they would like, and it would be like, oh, it's such a cute doggy and get to see them. And then next thing, and like they've got this table of drugs that they've taken up, and they kind of use it as, I don't want to say show and tell, but it kind of is like a show and tell type thing. But then you have this big assembly and they show these videos of these teenagers who are drowning literally in their own vomit, who, they're who have caused car accidents that's killed people. And like it really scarred me. There was one video in particular that scarred me as a child. And it kept me from wanting to even drink. It was a video of a girl who had taken some some kind of drugs, but they were laced with something else, and she didn't realize she was gonna have. I don't know if it was like marijuana or what, but she was like falling out or whatever, and like all the people around her were just laughing and like making fun of her and all this kind of stuff, and nobody was helping her. Did not realize that she was like, can't remember exactly if she had like thrown up already or if she was like aspirating or what, but she ended up dying in that room with those people while they were laughing at her. And that stuck with me. Obviously, it has stuck with me a long time because I'm 30 years old, but and that was when I was in elementary school. Like I was in like fourth grade when I saw that. And I mean, I won't even drink. Like I won't even, drink alcohol and stuff, and anything that is going to get me out of my right mind because I don't want something like that to happen to me. And that impacted me. However, there are a lot of kids I know that I went to school with that obviously it didn't impact because I know people have either tried them, who people that I went to school with who have either tried them, are addicted to them, or who have had to go through programs to get out of addiction with them. So, but I mean, I think that they can help. But I think that the majority of it they don't. There might be one random child like me that's like, oh my gosh, no, but that it might impact, which I guess to the people that are doing it, every child, if it impacts one, then it's done its job. So I guess it can have an impact.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
I guess it's a hit or miss because obviously it didn't matter to me. Because I went through there too, and guess what? The only thing there impacted me was when they brought in the lungs of like a smoke of like smoky, so they kind of gave like the pig's lungs, like the smoke, and I saw those. I was like, great, I'm not gonna smoke.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
only I remember, but everything else, it was just like I mean, I did pills and I did alcohol, so clearly it didn't really affect me. But in my defense, I don't think it was the fault of their or those programs as much as personal, private matters with itself. And that's always kind of be looked into. But sometimes I do think you show those things as a kid, and you are either like scared, or kids be like, "Ooh, I kind of want to try it," because kids are stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not to be mean, but I was just
No, but seriously.
kids can be kind of stupid sometimes because they don't have like the mental capacity. They're not the brain is still growing. So sometimes kids can see those and they'll be like, "Well, I kind of want to try it, just to test it out, see what happens." Um, and I'm
Or they
sure
might
it's
be like, I'm sorry. I was gonna say, or they might be like, oh, that's not gonna happen to me.
yeah, yeah. So it's just I think they came with the best intentions. I don't think they came out of it with like any bad things, but sometimes you just can't control kids. You don't know what's going on in their personal lives. You can show them everything, and then some of those those kids who are like, I'm indestructible. I can jump a building and not get hurt. Who have that mindset. Um,
Yeah.
so it just kind of, I think it just kind of depends. I think Dare is fine or was fine. I don't think they do Dare anymore. Um, I don't know. I haven't been in school in 15 years, so I haven't been in public school in so long. But it just kind of depends on who the kids are, what the family life is like. Um, so I don't want to say Dare failed or Dare didn't do a job as much as maybe social workers didn't do the job well or whatever. Um, but I think Dare is a decent was a good decent program for what it is because it was also like government funded, and you know that the government don't fund things that great, especially schools.
Hmm.
Right.
Yes, that is very true. So, yeah, I could definitely see Dare being a very impactful thing for certain students, and definitely it is kind of hit or miss kind of thing because I do know people as well that I went to school with that, some of them have gotten into really bad like drug journeys to where like they have to go to court. Some of them wear like ankle bracelet, like the ankle thing on their shin, area and like or around their ankle, of course. So, there's that. And then also, but I guess for me personally, it did impact me just because being that young and seeing kind of like the bad effects that it can happen, that can happen to you if you take drugs and if you take it too far. It could be very, very scary to see as a kid, and like Caitlyn was saying, it almost can scar you in a way. Like even like a certain video like that she was talking about, like that's definitely something that would be very scarring for a 9, 10-year-old kid to look at. And but it's sad that we have to even have to tell the kids this early in our lives, but it's a lot of it has to do because once they become preteens and teenagers, there comes the idea of trying to be cool and like if you take this drug, you're cool. If you drink this bottle, you're cool. And also just peer pressure, just all of that. So, I mean, it makes sense why, but it is unfortunate that like we're so young, but like we have to look at these things and it really can be a hit or miss. But thankfully for me, it definitely was, something that impacted me. So as long as it's impacting people out there, it's definitely they're doing their job right. So, I'm actually going to go ahead and get into our last question. So,